Welcome back, everybody. And today we're going to be working more on the fitness planner website as part of the 2025 UI/UX design crash course. So in the previous part, we have created this hero section. Now, before we move on to today's part where we are going to be creating an explainer video section, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making this hero section more interesting. Now, how do we do that? We are going to make use of something called design accents. So what are design accents? Basically, design accents are elements in our design that will make the design more interesting, but won't necessarily add any context or value to the design. For example, say here we have this little uh, icon which will act as a design accent for this part right here. It is not adding any more value, but it's creating more points of visual interest. So how and what are we going to make here? I'm going to pre-create, you can follow along. Obviously, this file here is available for you. You can just duplicate this file and work on it on your own. I'm going to leave the link down below in the description. So what we can do is we can create some sort of uh, line here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it like 75 or even maybe 125 thickness. I'm going to give it rounded edges. Uh, and I'm just going to make it bigger. Okay, great. So then what we can do here is we can take this, call it an accent, and place it into the actual desktop. Here I'm going to center align it both horizontally and vertically while also keeping this top left aligned. Then I'm going to take it to the back since we don't want it to overlap with any of our content. And I'm just going to give it a gradient color for stroke. The gradient will be from top to bottom, and it would be from white, full white, to our accent color or our brand color here. Obviously, the brand color will dominate most of it. So we're going to be end up with an interesting looking element as such. Okay, so we can duplicate this once more, and we can Shift A and give it like minus 200 or minus 250. Let's just go minus 225. Okay, that looks great. Now, as you can see here, we can leave it like this, but I'm not going to do that. The reason for that is it's really hard to see the content when it overlaps with the background accent because of no contrast, almost no contrast between the gray we're using and the orange color. And it might even cause some issues in the future with the black. So I'm gonna avoid that. One thing we can do is we can place it here, and that would like for now solve the problem. Uh, that would solve some of our problems. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate this and try another approach. So another approach we can take. I'm gonna call this an accent, by the way. Another approach we can take is we can take these two colors and reduce their overall opacity to be somewhat smaller, around 25. So this will create an interesting effect on the background, and that's another thing we can do. Now, the advantage of using this instead of the previous one is there is so much more contrast here. We are like there is enough contrast for it to work with any element. So it's a matter of perspective. There's a trade-off. I believe this visually looks more interesting, but this as a user experience will be do better. So it's a trade-off. For now, I'm gonna go more on the side of I'm gonna go for more of a visual instead of visual interest. I'm gonna go with user experience. So that's something I would like to prioritize more. So I'm just gonna do that. Yeah, so I believe this is enough to call a hero section more interesting. Now in the future we might return to the hero section and try to add some more things to make it more interesting. But for now, this will be our hero section. Obviously, it's a good thing to practice this with your hero sections. You can obviously change the colors, like try a different sort of color, like change the layout. You can practice on this as the design file is free and available for you. Next up, I'm going to be creating an explainer video section. So I'm just going to give ourselves a bit more space here vertically, and I'm going to create an explainer video section. First of all, we're going to be copying this. Okay, the reason we copied that is because we are going for a two-column approach with our grid lines here uh, illustrating it well. So here I'm going to change the content. Okay, I'm just going to say uh, learn about our service uh, with our explainer. Okay. Uh, we can take this, and like the copyright is not the best, I would admit that. And I'm not really focusing on the copyright here. Rather, I'm deciding to take more focus on the overall layout, color scheme, and overall UI UX design principles. So after that, we can go here and add a bit more description if we want. Uh, our platform, our service has, has helped many people. Okay, I'm just going to write a description here. Okay, yeah, some description here. Then what we're going to do here is one of the major differences is we're not going to have an explainer button here. The reason for that is we are already at the we would be already at the explainer video section. So clicking this will just redirect us here. So that doesn't really make sense to add an explainer video. So I'm going to decide to avoid that. Also, I would like to take our grid here. Okay, that's better. Okay, so we have the content. What more do we need? Obviously, okay, first I'm going to go pick this into the hero section. I just want to fix it up before. Okay. And this is actually a cool effect which might work. Might work. I'm actually gonna keep that. Actually, we're getting over ourselves here, but it's just something interesting. Like this could work here. Okay. Yeah. Uh, yeah. So here we will need to display the video, but we don't really have the space to create an HD or 4K video. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create sort of a square here, a rectangle, sorry. So this rectangle will have some corner radius around 12 pixels, or I'm gonna increase that to around 16 pixels here. Okay, I'm just gonna give it our primary color as the background. I'm just gonna reduce some of its height, then call it video. Then I'm gonna create a circle, just a basic circle. I'm gonna make it completely white here, and I'm just gonna place it here. Uh, like we can do this with a circle, but I'm actually gonna create a square here, a square around 64 by 64 maybe. Okay, that's too small. I see that. So we're just gonna increase the size of it, and we're gonna give it 999 corner radius to make it a circle. So the reason I made it with a square is because squares generally work better with photo layouts. So that's like Since we're going to be using auto layout on this circle, we're going to be using a square instead. So I'm just going to rename this play button. So it's going to be our play button. So obviously, if we decide to make this our play button, we will need a play icon here. Okay. 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 Let's reduce. Let's give it a fill. Instead, we can actually just use our polygon tool in Figma. I'm just going to flatten it here first. Give it some corner radius. Okay, corner radius is here, around 4 or 8 pixel corner radius. I'm gonna put it here. I'm just gonna rotate it around minus 90 degrees and just simply correct the position perfectly here in the center. This is relatively in the center. It's not really in the center, but it's relatively in the center. I'm gonna keep it there, and I'm gonna give it a color here. Now we can make our color lots of things. We can make this here or this color. What I'm gonna go for here rather is we're gonna go to our primary color and give it either, okay, we're gonna be using our secondary color here. Then we're gonna, I'm gonna call this icon, then Shift A here and central line it. Instead, okay, I'm just gonna say group and I'm gonna say play button. And I'm just gonna rename this container. Then we're gonna take the play button and Shift A with the video. So this would be the video section, default video. Now what we can do here is we can duplicate this and try to use different styles. So another thing we can do is we can go with a black border and a white background. Here we could go for our primary color, and for the inside we can go for white. Now if we decide on this style, Control Shift R, this is what we're left for with. So it's between this and Control Shift R, this. Now at this point it becomes a matter of preference. It becomes about what you like more. I personally I like this, just personally. The reason for that is it's more consistent, I think, with the overall design as we use this color more and more. So you feel free to use the other one too. What you have to do, again, if you haven't really understood last time, what you have to do is you just need to uh, change the background color from the orange to be white, give it a stroke, and to just to give separation, then change the color here to be white and this color uh, to be this reddish color, the orange. Yeah, so we're gonna stick with this for now, and let me just reduce the window size and remove the lines. Now this, we just need to group it, but before we do that I would like to add one more point of visual interest, or an accent. I would like to reuse this accent here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to put it here and increase its size. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy as SVG and Control Shift R to replace it. Now, as we make it an SVG, we can scale it however we want. Uh, okay, we can add the effect here. I'm going to go 64 maybe. Yeah, okay. And let's put it on top of it. Now it overlaps with the content here. Let me, so it doesn't really matter if it overlaps a bit or not, because like this text here is purely just to provide an explanation for this. It doesn't really make, or it doesn't really have a greater purpose. So like overlapping this just a bit doesn't really matter. Uh, but I'm just gonna keep it visible enough. And I'm gonna place it here. Now, what this will do is it will not serve any purpose at all. What it will do though, it will provide our eyes with just an extra point of visual interest. And this will go a long way in creating a super interesting and detailed design. So we're going to take both of the content, shift A into an auto layout, central line them again, and give them an auto positioning. And this will be our explainer video section. I'm just going to decide to decrease this as as I will also do it here too. Okay, great. So I'm just going to select here and I'm just going to reduce the size of difference to be 96 pixels. Okay, great. Let's reduce the window size again. And let's go through and see our design now. I really am enjoying creating this design. I think it's really interesting. I like how everything's coming along together. So the two column approach here is going a long way in creating a feel of consistency and a feel of how making the overall design look better together. Uh, so thanks for watching again. This is all for today. Uh, I really hope you enjoyed and learned from this video. This is actually a part of a course I'm giving my students uh, w- in a mentorship program I'm providing. So there's a couple of spots left in the mentorship program. So if you're interested in becoming a better UI/UX designer faster, and if you want more detailed lessons and hands-on teaching, I'm happy to provide that. Just DM me on X or Twitter. So my handle will be down below in the description. Again, thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Yeah, until next time. Goodbye.